Hi Aquarius and Aquarius Rising, this is your April 2017 forecast. So last month I discussed the effect of retrograde Venus, and Venus will still be retrograde until the 15th of April in Pisces. This month, however, Mercury goes retrograde as well and stays retrograde from the 9th of April until the 3rd of May. So Mercury is what I want to focus on this month, and if you want a refresher on what Venus retrograde signifies, you can just click on the beginning of my March forecast. So Mercury retrograde, what does it mean? You know, the typical things that we associate with Mercury retrograde are missing objects like keys, phones, that sort of thing, vital trinkets. Also mix-ups in communications. Traditionally, Mercury retrograde is not considered a good time to start new business, so it's all about finishing old business. Mercury is also the divine messenger, so Mercury retrograde gives us a time or chance to backtrack, to go over things, to, review and, reorganize certain things or pieces of our life. So let's look at what Mercury retrograde means for you. So Mercury will be retrograde in your 4th house until the 21st of April. So with Mercury retrograding in the 4th, this brings to mind issues like, are you stuck in a rut? Are things getting too fixed? This might be the time to change your home environment, to really declutter. So have a look at all the objects lying around and decide which ones are useful and which ones can be let go of. Mercury in the 4th also touches deep fundamental beliefs. So this is a good time to kind of interrogate childhood conditioning, fixed habits of thinking that we have developed about ourselves and the world. So question these things. It's also a very good time with Mercury retrograding in the 4th to reconnect with family. So really, if there have been problems, use this time to connect with them and to sort things out. So from the 21st of April, Mercury will be retrograding in your 3rd house. And Mercury in the 3rd can sometimes show a very busy time. Also lots of scattered mental energies. So the onus is on you to take, to do your due diligence with certain things. With regards to transport, it's really the time when you want to check that your car has been serviced, that your fuel tank is full, make sure you put your keys in the same place and watch the speed limit. And with regards to messages and communications, because the 3rd house is that communications hub, you want to be very sure to check understanding, especially with important communications. So make sure that you're on the same page as another person. With Mercury retrograding in the 3rd, it's also important to back up vital information on your computer or your phone, so make sure you've saved important things. And also you might want to do like malware checks and virus checks more regularly. Mercury retrograding in the 3rd can also show a lot of scattered, diffuse energy, mostly because of a lot of busyness. So this is when you really need to make time for quiet, reflective moments during the day. So let's look at what else is happening this month. You've got the Sun in your 3rd house until the 20th of April. And the Sun in the 3rd, the emphasis is really on busyness and movement. It's about attending to routine matters, to matters of business. It's also a very social placement, so this is where you explore and make connections, and you might need to give people a little bit more of your time. So taking care of personal business, this can take the form of paperwork, phone calls, conversations. So here it's really about adaptability, flexibility, multitasking. You can also sometimes find when the Sun is in the 3rd house, you're making a lot of short trips. It's also a good time for studies. So if you need to improve your technical skills in particular, anything that will make you more effective. So perhaps a course of study would be a good investment. So from the 20th, the Sun moves into your 4th house. And this is where things can settle down a little bit more. The Sun in the 4th, it's all about nesting. It's taking care of, personal, emotional, and family affairs. Property concerns can also come up, but it's a very good time to also strengthen family connections, set down roots, make things comfortable, safe, and secure for yourself. So domestic and family concerns can come up, and so can property concerns. So this can be around property investments and, property renovations even. So Venus is retrograde until the 15th in your 2nd house and stays in the 2nd house for most of the month, even after going direct. So Venus, of course, in the 2nd house, it's very good placement for Venus to attract money, to attract possessions, and even people that are advantageous to you. So Venus is that passive planet or benefic planet, so it can draw good things to you without you having to make too much effort, and this affecting you in the financial sector. With Venus in the 2nd, you might want to be a little bit more careful with spending, because Venus does like to splurge on luxury items. So good clothing, items of beauty, items of luxury, so art and fine clothes and fine food can really, so that acquisitive instinct can really be triggered by Venus in the second. But Venus in the second also helps you, deal with your social connections very harmoniously. So this is a very good placement for business relations and deals, because Venus helps you be a very good diplomat and effective arbiter for your needs and wants. So Mars is in your 4th house until the 21st, and Mars in the 4th is, that Mars energy, Venus being the passive planet and Mars being the active planet. Mars is channeling its energy into home and property affairs. So this can sometimes signify home renovations, redecorations. So Mars is really trying to get things as comfortable and secure as possible. It can show some strife with domestic matters, so family members or people that you live with, you can clash with them over the way you want things done or organized in the space. But very industrious energy for getting things done around the home. So just watch that potential for strife with regards to other people's needs on the domestic front. So from the 21st, Mars moves into your 5th house, and the 5th house is the house of recreation, sports, romance, speculative risks. So Mars will be siphoning its energy into those avenues. So good for financial risk-taking, good for consummation of interest. So Mars in the 5th, this is also the house of personal business. So Mars here is very good at promoting and pushing personal business projects. In terms of physical romance, this is the more immediate gratification sort of significator of romance. So Mars is looking, for physical consummation. So Mars here, very energetic, very inspired, so also very adventurous in the 5th house. So let's have a look at the aspects this month. On the 5th of April, we've got Mars trining Pluto from your 4th to your 12th house. So when Mars and Pluto come together, it's very energetic. There's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of push to pursue ambitions and drives and objectives. So there's a lot of sustained energy which can be used very productively to accomplish a lot. And for you, this could be around the home or with regards to personal study or projects that you're developing. On the 8th, we've got Venus squaring Saturn from your 2nd to your 11th house. And Venus and Saturn in difficult aspect can show a bit of cooling off of the emotions, perhaps emotional disappointment. Because Venus is in your 2nd house, this can sometimes show financial strain or even losses. But if it's with regards to personal relationships, Saturn being in the 11th house, it could show disappointment with a friend. So it's time to back up and reassess. On the 9th, we've got the Sun squaring Pluto from your 3rd to your 12th house. And the Sun and Pluto in a hard aspect can show power struggles, also extremes of behavior, intensity of experience. So this can bring out ego trips or conflict, and this could be you or this could be other people that you're coming into contact with. On the 11th, we've got the full moon happening in Libra in your 9th house. So with the full moon in the 9th house, this shows a surge of emotional energy, particularly in 9th house affairs. So the polar opposite is, of course, the 3rd house, which is where we deal with routine tasks. And the routine has its place, but so does doing things differently. And when the full moon is in the 9th, you're really looking for meaning, you're looking for significance, you're looking for adventure. So for you, this could be around travel or study plans. So you might also be feeling a little bit restless at this time. So this could be the time to take a little bit of a trip, either physically or mentally. So do something for stimulus, something for adventure. So on the 14th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Uranus in your 3rd house. And this is really a good placement for progressive thinking, for technological, progressiveness in particular. So with the Sun and Uranus together, it's a good time to try something different. With you, this can show some changes regarding circumstances. It can also show chance travel. So, this can also bring new contacts and novel experiences into your orbit. So Uranus, always that planet of surprises. On the 17th, we've got the Sun trining Saturn from your 3rd to your 11th house. So the Sun and Saturn together shows ambition, serious concerns and subjects. It's good for disciplined study. It gives you patience and endurance. And it also helps you deal with responsibility and duties very well. With the Sun trining Saturn, it can also show assistance from older or more respected persons. On the 24th, we've got Mercury now trining Saturn. And again, this is also good for serious subjects. But here with Mercury, it's also good for attention to detail. So good for learning and education matters. With Mercury and Saturn in a harmonious aspect, it's also good for work that's more tedious. It doesn't have to be inspired. You're really able to focus and concentrate. This can also show having to speak or study to advance professionally. On the 26th, we've got the new moon in Taurus in your 4th house, and this is that place of home, family, and roots. So new moon's also, it's a period of culminating energies, so it's periods of activity. The next 2 weeks are going to be a lot of energy being channeled into home, family, and property concerns. So this can sometimes show up as doing reorganization around the home, reconnecting with family, even remodeling and changes to your home environment, and property concerns and investments can come up for you. So the month concludes with Mercury conjunct Uranus in your 3rd house. So Mercury and Uranus together, very exciting, very stimulating mentally. So fast-paced thinking, your circuits and batteries are charged at this time. With Mercury and Uranus in the 3rd house, it can also show scattered energy and nervous energy. So if you're a bit of a Duracell bunny to begin with, this can show, the fuses being short-circuited a little bit. But on the other hand, Mercury and Uranus, when they're working together well, can show sudden insights, ideas, exciting news, and kind of breakthroughs. On the other hand, it can also be mechanical and technological difficulties. So just watch out for computer problems under this transit, or car problems for that matter. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.